Hey, Planeswalkers, Mythras here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. Welcome to today's episode of Top Deck. We got something special for you here. A #1 Wet Gruul deck. That's right, my friends. So I appreciate you tuning in because we have a lot coming your way. This #1 deck was by Ryumi, so congratulations, Ryumi. And for those of you that are new, those of you that are returning, the deck list is available for you down below, along with the timestamps on which we're going to walk through the strategy objective of this deck. We'll talk through the deck list, and then we'll dive into the sideboard and how to guide for best of 3, and then we're going to go play some competitive Magic for you here today in both best of 1 and best of 3 with this list, and close that all out with some final thoughts on where this may sit in the meta, my friends. So let's go ahead and jump into it here, but first, before we do, as always, a huge thank you. I really appreciate your support, so please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there, and additionally like the video if you like it. All right, Planeswalkers, so this is what's called a Wet Gruul deck. Essentially, it's Temur, but the reality is we're splashing for blue, not really for access in our main board, but for our sideboard. Additionally here, I did sub in the Temple of Mysteries. This does run 4 tide channels, so I'll make sure to update the list down below for you so you have that. But that's one of the cool concepts here with Zendikar's Rising Modal Lands, as well as the Kaldheim ones here, to help you smooth out your hands for some of these other things that you may cast in the sideboard. But this operates as our traditional Gruul deck. We know that that was obviously a strong tier 1 deck list coming out of Zendikar's Rising. Essentially, again, very strong here. The biggest pickups that we have is Goldspan Dragon. This also is going to help smooth out your mana, but this guy's got Flying Haste. Whenever it attacks or becomes a spell of a target of a spell, create a treasure token, and then treasures we control, we can tap them, sacrifice that artifact, and add 2 mana of any one color. So very, very powerful here, very aggressive, and realistically, so outside of the main board, you know, this is really pretty much an aggro deck, mid-range deck at heart. We do splash for blue to get access to help with some control. Really going to help us against some of those key decks like Ultimatum, which is making a lot of impact right now. Additionally, some of the Sultai emergent decks showing up, and just Sultai in general, and obviously any other control deck. So that's just going to shore up essentially one big weakness out of this deck against some of those control decks. So that is the strategy and objective of this deck at a quick pace. So now we're going to hop through the list rather quickly. Again, so we have Edgewell Innkeeper. This guy, whenever we cast a creature spell that has an adventure card, we're going to draw it. We got Scavenging Ooze or the Skoos. We can exile a target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, we're going to put a +1/+1 on this bad boy, gain 1 life. We got the Brushfire Elemental. This guy's got haste, can't be blocked with by creatures with power 2 or less. Landfall ability is going to get +2/+2 till end of turn. We got a modal land here, Shatterspell Smashing, X damage up to 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. X is 6 or more, double that. Also, again, another modal land, can enter tapped or pay 3 life for that access to red mana source. We got Bone Crusher, 2 damage direct, can't be prevented to any target with its adventure instant speed spell there, and then additionally a 4/3 body that when it does become the target of a spell, its spell's controller deals 2 damage to. Lovestruck Beast, create a 1/1 white human with its adventure spell at sorcery speed, and also a 5/5 body, but this guy can't attack without a 1/1. Then we got Kazandu Mammoth, another modal land here. We can have this enter tapped, or 3/3 elephant creature that has landfall. Whenever a land enters, we get +2/+2 till end of turn. We got the good old Crowan War, where we can gain control of target creature for as long as this is on the battlefield until our next turn. Creatures our opponents control must attack each combat if able, and then each tapped creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. We got the good old Questing Beast that does a ton of things: Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste, can't be blocked by creatures 2 or less. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures we control can't be prevented. And last but not least, whenever this deals combat damage to opponent, deals that much damage to target planeswalker that player controls. We talked about Goldspan Dragon. Embercleave here is a nice top end finisher. It's flash, costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature we control. Enters the battlefield, attach it to a creature. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, has trample and double strike. And then obviously a bunch of lands to boot here. So that is the main board. Again, pretty much the same. We do see Goldspan Dragon here, and again, the Crowan and War was pretty popular. So these are kind of some of the other pieces that are interchangeable with some of the different Gruul decks. But then when we do dive into the sideboard here, that big piece and gain was, in terms of the Wet Gruul, is the negate. So we can counter target non-creature spell. Again, this is big against some of those control decks like we talked about, or Ugin decks, or ramp decks, even Tibalt's Trickery kind of a thing. So keep those pieces in mind. That's really where we're going to play this. Essentially, all the decks that Gruul is not the best at, you're going to be running this for the most part. Then we got Fire Prophecy, 3 damage to target creature. We may put a card from our hand on the bottom of our library. If we do draw a card, you're going to run this against things like mono red aggro, anything running Boros aggro, mono white. Great against the regular Gruul or Wet Gruul as well. Mirror match. We have Soul Seer here, 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. That permanent loses indestructible till end of turn. Run this against mono white. Absolutely takes Heliod off the board. You're going to run it against a mirror match. It's going to hit Love Struck. Anything that's got big creatures, this is a good one for you to have. Clythos, God of Destiny here. Indestructible as long as our devotion to red and green is less than 7. This isn't a creature at the beginning of our pre-combat main phase. Exile target creature from a graveyard. If it was land card, add mana. Otherwise, gain 2. Deal 2, we get a nice 4-point swing. Run this against the Rakdos mid-range decks, the Jund Sack decks. We're seeing a lot of those cropping back up. Anything leveraging graveyard. We obviously have Scavenging Ooze. This one's also a nice one to have on the board. Works well against the mirror match too if you need. Potentially just giving you a big body that you can block with, but you got to be careful of obviously the soul seer here. A Crow and War creature-based decks, mirror match, mono red. Naya decks as well that you may run into. A good one to put in there. Ox of Agonis here enters the battlefield, discard our hand, draw 3 cards, escape for 2, exile 8 other cards from our graveyard, and it escapes with a +1/+1. So great on refilling, good for late game, also good for rogues decks, obviously. So keep those things in mind. And then last but not least, the good old Island. So we're going to sub this in when we run the negates. We obviously got a decent amount here, but go ahead and put that in against some of those control decks and ultimatum decks. So that is the sideboard, my friends. Let's talk about how we're going to rack and stack this in terms of the aggro, the mid-range, and the late game lineup. So aggro, already fairly strong, but obviously you can go Fire Prophecy, you could go Soul Seer if you wanted to, and even the Crone War. You could go up to 6, 7 there if you wanted. Realistically, I still like Skoos. The gain life is going to be helpful. Other things that you could pull out here, Goldspan's great. Could be top heavy for you or a little bit slower than necessarily that you may want. If you need the reach, that could be a consideration for you there as well. Again, this is just pretty rock solid. You could also drop Skoos out and go the Fire Prophecies and also the Soul Seer. You could consider pulling something like a Questing Beast out if you wanted to as well, to kind of shore up and go direct damage. But again, this is pretty solid in that space as well. Then when we get into the mid-range battles, again, aggro to mid-range, something like a Gruul, so you do something similar there. You could consider some of the Naya Landfall decks or Naya Adventure decks in there as well, and some of the Boros Scald's decks, but then we also have this digression or dichotomy in terms of some of the more control-y types things. So these could be some like the Rakdos mid-range, the Jund Sack decks, those things. So you're either going to go with that direct damage, or you're going to begin to consider negates and get into the Wet Gruul piece of the deck, or the Temur piece of the deck, however you want to call it, or even potentially, you know, Clythos and some of those things. Obviously the island as well. So you can go similar in terms of what we did for the aggro. If we go the other route, negates, Clythos, maybe the island would be something. What would I swap out? Honestly, I'd probably drop the Crone War and I'd get the negates, and then I'd probably flip in an island here over like a forest or something like that. And you know, I'd probably keep the mana base there because we got pretty good heavy mana, 30 to be honest, between the modal lands and flooding. So that's kind of where I'd go in that space. Then last but not least, we got our control decks. We got, you know, kind of that ultimatum straddle from late to or mid to late game. You have Ugin decks, those kinds of things. Also, you know, you will face some of those Is It decks. You guys check that out. That's pretty popular here. Negates are good against that. Doom decks you may run into still. Yorion decks. So negates, islands, these guys are going to be your friends. You may consider Clythos, God of War, a similar style in terms of what you're going to look to remove out of here. And then the other one thing I do want to talk about here for a second is obviously the rogues decks. You're going to pop in the Oxywagonus, probably Fire Prophecy. You could consider the negates as well. And what I would do is I would pull down my top end here to kind of shore things up. So Planeswalkers, that is the aggro, that is the mid-range, and that is the late game lineup here. In terms of how we're going to play Wet Gruul, again, this deck is by Ryumi. Very excited to be piloting this for you here today. So let's go ahead and hop into it because it's a nice little flavor, and it is number 1. All right. So we are going to go play some standard ranked. So best of 1 first. Yesterday we did this top 100 Jeskai Spells deck. You guys can check that one out. Today we're doing the number 1 Wet Gruul deck. So let's go ahead here and see how this fares. Obviously, we're not going to see the negates in action, but Gruul is still very strong in terms of best of 1. So let's see how it fares today in these lineups. Now, for those of you that are joining now, as always, I'm going to keep this, even though we don't have a ton of stuff that we got to turn to and some of those things. So we'll keep that. Oh, and we got to get 2 of those down. So we don't need to worry about that. We'll trick them around a little bit with that. Those of you that are joining now, we covered the deck list. We covered some of the strategy here. Oh, what do I want to do? We could wait. We'll do that. We talked about the deck makeup and objective, how this works out here as well. I'm going to hit this off the board. Oh, there was my green. Bummer. So as always, big thank you. I appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe down over there. Additionally, like the video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. I do live stream, working on a schedule, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays for that. So you guys can absolutely come hang out. What do we want to do? Do I drop this guy is the question and go there? We can do this. I'm going to do this because I do want to be able to try and play that. Little awkward, yes, I know, but that is the play that I want to make here. Can obviously try and play Bone Crusher. So they have 3, so they can do a couple things here. I'm going to try and get Questing Beast on the board here. So they may have instant kill spell. Oh, the Fabled Passage killed me. Ah, bummer. So we knew they would have countered whatever we had anyway. So let's do this. We'll see if we can get this guy on the board. There we go. We can deal with that. Let's see if we can get this one on the board. Ooh, I'm gonna deal damage. All right. We'll leave it like that for now. Oh, what do we have in here? So they're certainly going to take probably Questing Beast. So if they have counters, we're going to be in for a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could go to 6. Shoot, how do we want to do this? We'll try that. I'm gonna expect a counter. Ooh. So let's do another red. One, two, three, four, five, six. Pull a gold span. I think we block there for now. One, two, three, four, five, six. Let's go with that. Oh. Wouldn't have been lethal. So let's get this guy on. There we go. Hopefully that's enough. We'll see. Oh, we're good, I think. We're good. Yes, there we go. Beat a rogues deck with our Wet Gruul deck. All right, let's go into our next best of one there, my friend. So again, little bit in terms of awkward play that I made there, but it worked out. So let's go ahead into our next one there. Some tough decisions, interesting calls. Ultimately, we're able to do it. I blocked with the 1/1. given me enough on the board. They didn't have the counter spells that they needed, so that was good. Very, very good. I can keep this one, and I will do that actually, because we got the 2 reds here for Gold Span. That sets us up nicely for Ember Cleave. So it's going to be a little bit slower. We will get the Scoos on. Looks like we got Teapot here. We'll do that. Blue-black. Is it another Rogues deck? Probably. Looking that way. Ooh, there you go. So this might be a Grixis even too. Best move would be to take Scoos, I think. And that one's an interesting play to me. That's okay though. We'll put this on the board. Yeah, there it is. It is Grixis. It is Grixis. So this is 7. Oh. Grab our green. Good old Portel. So we could take Valky if we wanted to. I don't think that's what I want to do though. One land is what we need. There we go. Let's get this guy on the board. So if they kill it, we're still going to get the treasure. There you go, multiverse. Six. They have enough to get. Tibalt's going to be a big problem. Big problem for us, I think. Not as fast out of the gates here with this mix today on this deck lineup. Get rid of that. There we go. Going right to the face. We'll wait. So here comes Tibalt. Oh, Goldspan. We can deal with that. Three. All right, let's see if we can get away with it. We got 2 tries. Play this guy. If we get the cleave down, we might not even need to get the cleave down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can steal. It's 9 damage. Ah, there we go. So we can play this again. Ooh, there you go. All right, we are golden. Auto pay. Boom. Looking good, my friends. Looking good. The Wet Gruul. All right. Mainly that's a nice little sideboard gimmick there too. So let's go one more best of 3 here, or sorry, best of 1, and then we'll go jump into our best of 3 lineup. And that's really where we'll begin to see kind of the differences here with the regular Gruul, obviously, and then the Wet Gruul here, which it does make a big difference. So keep that in mind, my friends. So that's a Grixis control deck. I've seen it a few times. Certainly a nice new deck here with Valky. Right. So we can keep this. Uh-oh. Gruul it is. Mirror match. All right, what do we got here? So we may... Oh, here it is. Tibalt's Trickery. Uh-oh, are we going to be able to come back? I don't know if we can come back from that. So they got a nice turn 2. We did not get a nice turn 2. Well, they didn't get anything there of any value. So they can take something if they would like. Oh, they should have took the Khazad Valley, man. If we come back from this, if you guys watch my mono white one, has to be tough. If you guys watch my mono white matchup, we did end up beating. We ended up beating a similar play. This is gonna be a little bit harder for us here, but that's okay. We'll find out rather quickly. Ooh, I will take that. This guy. And they're only running Gruul, so what the heck? We can take that thing off the board if we want. Well, we can't actually. So let's do this. Let's load up. We need to get the cleave. All right, here we go. I didn't want to pay the 2 there for that. There we go. So now we can hit the red. If we need it. Well, let's go grab it now. Now we can double block and kill the 8/8. To get to Ugin though, 2, 4, 6, 7. They're 1 shy. Alright, here we go. Oh, it didn't shoot. Oh, I meant to hit attack. Oh, that's gonna cost me the game. that was supposed to be an attack there. I'm gonna take this thing off, actually. All right, let's see if it works this time. And can go like this. One, two, three, four, five. It's gonna be close. So we got. So the best thing we can actually do here is five, the block 5, so 9, 13. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be real close here. Oh, there we go. We did it again. That's twice. That's twice we beat the Tibalt Trickery deck off a good start like that. That is why you don't quit. That is why you don't quit. Two times. You guys can go check out the mono white one because we did it there as well. Wow, what a match again. We caught it twice on camera. Oh, that makes me so excited. Okay. And I forgot to attack it on that one. So boom. Take it. Take it. All right. We will claim that prize. So, Planeswalkers, now we are going to move into the best of 3 portion here again. We did the top 100 Jeskai yesterday. Today is the Wet Gruul. So, again, the biggest piece is really Temur, but your sideboard and negates, which is going to be really, really helpful here in the best of 3 world. So, those of you that are joining right now, we swept best of 1 3-0, and we had a crusher of a match against the Tibalt Trickery deck again, so you guys should absolutely check that one out. That was the 3rd match there. Now, quickly, as always, truly appreciate your support. So please feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on content like this. Other great ways to connect down below in the description and the details. Always appreciate all the supporters from the Patron to the YouTube members as well. And obviously, everyone else and yourself viewing this too. So thank you as always. All right, so let's see what we got going on here with Sae, I think it is. Again, this is a Wet Gruul deck, so a little bit different. Ooh, it's a tough one. I'm probably going to try it. View battlefield. Oh, I may actually mulligan. I'm going to do this. It's a little bit better. I'm going to drop the Aggro in here. Then I'm dropping a Crone because I don't think they're going to have... It's not going to have as much of an impact against Yorion decks, but well, you never know. I'm going to keep Bark Channel Pathway back too, just for a little bit here. So we got our double red. So certainly a late game control deck. So we are going to want to run the Wet Gruul, pulling those negates here. So let's get through this first match, and then we'll kind of figure out how we want to board here. Embercleave's going to be gone. Oh, brutal. So this is the Sultai deck that we have here. Sultai Yorion. This thing is nasty too. So we'll see if we can get this guy on here. We'll give it a shot. It's probably going to have a counter, maybe. Or kill spell. There's the kill spell. They're gonna drop, they'll drop that in. And then they're gonna have all kinds. It should have. Oh, the mistaps are gonna drive me insane. Our graveyard. Graveyard, let's move a few things out. So they're going to drop Yorion. They'll get a ton of things that they can pull back up. We're not going to be able to recover fast enough from this. So what this deck is missing is the Great Henge. It's done. Alright, we're not coming back. Even one clip. Well, maybe. But wait, we'll give it another one. No, we're not coming back. Like to give hope. We'll see. Five, four. What do you got? What do you got? There you go. Ooh. All right. We'll go to the next one. So, going to be a tough match. The Sultai ones are certainly fairly nasty here. So, we are going to do these guys. I'm actually going to throw this in. Ox we're going to need. Crone War is not what we need. Soul Seer, it could get Yorion off the board, but don't need that too much. Let's drop one of those. What do we want to get off here as well? So I still like this on the ping side. That's going to help on the direct kill. Bone Crusher's not as good here. Shatter Skull's not as good either. Do that. Let's try that. Okay. We'll give this a shot. We're going to need the reload. Actually, we can go this. Let's go a little lighter on the cleave. All right, let's try that. If we get to 5. so they have the exile, they have the direct kills, they got a lot of stuff. We'll play first. Here we go. And no red, huh? Oh, we did get red. Okay, good. There you go. All right. So depending on what they do here, we could have lethal. So let's see. Or they're going to wipe my board. One of the two. They need to pull Kazandu here. There you go. They have no direct kill. We're good. Woo. Woo, 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 woo. There we go. Nice and fast and good old Gruul style there. Oh man. All right, we'll stick with it. We'll try it again. All right, they were already ready. They were ready to go. So 1-1 it is, my friends. One and one, my friends. Woo. Oh. Oh. I'm going to keep this. I know we're super aggressive too. I want to hang on to the negate just in case. I think we get rid of gold spam. Cleave's going to do it though. I think we dropped the cleave. All right, we'll try that. There we go. Shoot. I would take the brush fire. Yeah, that was the problem child for them before. So we will actually do this. And do I want to keep that? It'll get me to 5. Will get me to 5. We did have 2 draws, but they probably could have made the argument to push it down. Put that guy on. Probably should have waited. That's all right. Oh, the counter. Going to be painful. Going to be painful. And then they can make that guy bigger too. Oh, that just hurts. That just hurts so bad. Oh. No good. It's no good, my friends. That was a bad keep. So there we have it for today. I'm going to end on that, but you guys got to see how we kind of move things in for the best of 3 and how Wet Gruul actually works. Again, the counters are very, very important. Probably could have waited there a little bit more, played it a little bit slower. Could have made a difference, obviously, in that matchup. The Valky was causing us some problems. So let's go ahead here and check out the deck. Again, this is a Wet Gruul deck. We crushed best of 1 today. We had a great matchup in our third one there against a Tibalt Trickery deck, shutting it down. They couldn't quite finish us off. We were able to pull through. So very, very impressive there with our best of 1. And then in best of 3, just had some bad luck in terms of the draw there. I did get a little aggressive in terms of land, so that could have been you know, something that you could look at differently. But again, it's all about this negates and splashing in there for some control. It certainly helps you against the deck that we did play, the Sultai control deck there. Also going to happen against some of the ultimatum decks and those kinds of things. Now, we are only having 2 in here. Maybe a consideration would honestly be to splash a little bit more blue, to be honest, but something to keep in mind. And then obviously the Fabled Passage can go pick up that island if you need to. So Planeswalkers, overall, in terms of the deck, certainly felt good in best of 1. Again, Gruul is up there. Definitely a top, well, we just did so many decks last season, but probably that borderline tier 1, certainly top of tier 2 deck. And then additionally in best of 3, I think it's going to continue to remain strong. At least, you know, we didn't have the best matchup. Again, having this other splash in it for some of the control lineup is going to be very, very healthy. Particularly, I think Sultai, as you've seen, might be making a nice comeback here as well. So certainly probably similar spot tier 1/tier 2, but we'll see how this kind of evolves. It's still going to be very strong. We were able to get under very fast, but just could not get the right pull there. So with that said, Planeswalkers, if you do have questions or comments, I did forget to mention this at the beginning of the video, please ask down below. Also feel free to hop on the Discord server. Lots of awesome people in there chatting away, asking questions, all those things. And then as always, again, a huge thank you. I really appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe down over there. Additionally, like the video if you liked it. You can also like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Twitch, stay up to date on content like this, my friends. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this take. Wet Gruul by Ryumi. Congratulations, a #1 deck once again. A little bit different flavor, nice one to cover here with Kaldheim. So take care, Planeswalkers. We'll see you again soon. Stay safe. And until next time, Mythras out.